This episode I will talk about Sega, the small indie company. Let's dive in. To begin with, I need to make it clear that Sega is a multi-million-dollar company and not a small indie company, even if they produce games like one. Sega has been a huge part of many people's childhoods, and even lives, as their hit titles have been the favourite of many families and children for quite a while. So then, why do I criticize Sega by calling them a small indie? Surely they are continuing to produce quality content and dominate the games market, right? Not really. Sega and Sega games, by consequence, have actually fallen out of fashion in recent years, due to several incidents that have occurred in the past with their consoles. Sega has not regained the trust it lost in those events. In fact, for a lot of fans, they have only caused more damage over time, with what happened to games like Spiral Knights and the Sakura Wars reboot. And I am sure there are more occurrences of Sega messing up that I am unaware of, as I am not personally a Sega fan. Otherwise, NGS should be Sega actively trying to better themselves. However, they have over the last 8 years collected metrics and got the wrong idea, and now they think that players will be happy with a half-assed low quality content loop, which barely lasts even 10 minutes. Part of this is due to the players not being more vocal about low content levels over the years, in fact, and not completely Sega's fault. However, this is why it is important to be vocal about video game issues and not let companies have their way with you. Otherwise, it is really important as a community to fix this perception that the 8 years of Pso2 gave Sega. Moving on, it is obvious that Sega is being very stubborn. From my perspective as a game designer, it is highly likely Sega is suffering from NIH, or Not Invented Here syndrome. Why do I bring this up? Well, Sega, to a large degree, seems to be A. ignoring Global's opinion on certain topics and seem to keep Global at an arm's length and in the dark. B. seem to be suffering from poor programming practice, making their game harder to add to and modulate over time. If I am wrong about this, Sega prove me wrong, as it would really honestly take Sega an hour plus business stuff to drop 2 new urgent quests. And C. Sega is about as transparent as a brick wall. Every time they have dev issues, they don't directly tell us the problem, or clearly make note of what's going on. They have no public test beta, at least on Global, ask for player opinion on things, and are just handling PR poorly. For example, on PR, the massive ban wave they did seems to have mostly only banned bots, and very few players. Since then, they have not only not acted on their promise to commit to that level of moderation, they have dialed back on it. Not saying that is a bad thing. What they claimed to do was overblown and not fair in most circumstances. The people playing Pso2 should be adults after all, as Pso2 does not have the age rating of a child's game, and adults should be free to moderate themselves a little bit. In this event, Sega should only be stepping in when harassment reports are called on, which they don't. However, as they didn't stick to what they promised, this is still a problem, even if what they promised was more on the negative side. They still are not acting on general reports of issues, and they seem to have absolutely no moderator presence. I haven't seen a mod in ages. In a sense, with this video, I am pleading for Sega to get their acts together and start actually listening to player feedback. Be more transparent, be more open about what you want to do, and how you want to address player feedback. You have a very good PR team that honestly is doing great work. Give them the freedom to actually talk to the player base and be more transparent about what you want to do. Just establish a cordial relationship with your player base and you will be better off. Not because you necessarily know what players want. I know Sega probably follows the game design line, players don't know what they want, but you will know what we don't want. And I can't be clear enough about this. We don't want a content drought. Otherwise, Pso2 is still a good chance for Sega to make a comeback and get the game right. Currently, many people are sitting here waiting for Blue Protocol, hoping that the game will be Pso2 with more content. Pso2 isn't as popular as many people think it is, even in Japan. It has fallen out of popularity from 2016 to 2019, and as of now, with NGS's floppy launch, it didn't help. NPC players aren't going to stop Pso2 from declining if no action is taken. If Sega wants Pso2 to survive, they need to really breathe life back into the game, because right now it is probably the strongest IP they have outside of Sonic, of course. Being stubborn and not listening to their consumer base will continue to hurt their games. To conclude, do I think Sega can come back from the situation they have thrown themselves into? Absolutely, but the likelihood is that Sega won't learn from its mistakes until it is too late. Sega needs to stop shooting itself in the foot by neglecting parts of its consumer base. Otherwise, remember to leave a comment, like and subscribe. If you don't like my take, feel free to downvote the pixels out of me. I've been RSD, and I am signing out.